Chris Stirewalt is our Fox News digital politics editor, and Howie Kurtz is host of Media Buzz on Fox News. So as I saw it, Sanders got an hour. She got a little bit, about an hour. Martin got like half an hour. I don't know. But the point is, we saw a very energized Hillary Clinton tonight, Stirewalt, did we not? I mean, she was clearly trying to send a message. I mean, you don't usually see her with the hands and the... Yeah, if you're listening on Sirius Radio, this is not that impactful. But trust me, it was like the Italian.
The Paisan effect?
I am half Italian, I can say that.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm not, and I did. Howard and I can reenact the best scenes with this with sock puppets until the video is ready. But I would say this, that Hillary Clinton, when she tries to match the mood, so she's probably a very smart person. She is a very smart person, I'm sure, but she has a low emotional quotient. She has a hard time matching the emotion of the moment. Bernie Sanders is a natural, right? He's funny, he's at ease, he's human.
How about the remark about I'm too fat?
Too fat to button the jet. What is he talking about? I don't know what he's talking about.
Right.
But so Bernie Sanders was funny, human, relatable, all of that stuff. Hillary Clinton, it's like they changed the chip. They say, okay, now it's angry, or now it's this, or now it's relatable. I thought she showed a lot of energy, but I think Sanders had it.
Be relatable. All right, listen.
Put the relatability chip in.
So Sanders, I don't know if we have the I've gotten too fat clip. By the way, haven't you noticed that? A lot of these candidates, they're like getting a little bigger. You can see it on the screen, and I'm like, don't adjust your television, but you can see that it's tough. It's tough to stay slim out on the campaign trail. But here is a highlight of Mr. Bernie Sanders, the senator. Watch.
Is Secretary Clinton simply better prepared for the job than you, sir?
This calls for a standing up response.
Okay.
I've known Hillary Clinton for 25 years. You know what? I like Hillary Clinton, and I respect Hillary Clinton. I have tried, as I hope you all know, not to run a negative campaign, not to be attacking every other day, to keep this discussion on a high level where we debate the issues facing this country. By the way, with a few exceptions, we're doing a lot better than the Republicans in that regard. But on the other hand, that's not a very high bar to reach. So I voted against the war in Iraq. Hillary Clinton voted for the war in Iraq. I led the effort against Wall Street deregulation. See where Hillary Clinton was on this issue. On day one, I said the Keystone Pipeline is a dumb idea. Why did it take Hillary Clinton such a long time? In other words, yeah, I do think I have the background and the judgment to take this very, very difficult job of being President of the United States.
Howie, he went on from there and used a lot of the lines from his campaign that we've heard before. We need a political revolution, going off on the rigged economy that's sustained by a corrupt campaign finance system. And this is like catnip to a lot of voters.
Yeah, the crowd was, I think, kind of pro-Sanders, and he hit his greatest hits, if you will. But I think he spent part of the time on the defensive, because when he was going on and on about universal health care and taxing the hell out of Wall Street, Chris Cuomo pushed back, said, you're talking about a massive redistribution of wealth. He said, you're talking about bringing back the era of big government, which Hillary's husband famously said was over, and bigger than ever, and that caused Sanders to have to backpedal. By contrast, Hillary spent the whole time in front of the crowd on her feet, most animated I've seen her all year, but the enthusiasm gap was apparent because, as Ed Henry mentioned, the first questioner was a young guy who said all his friends think she's dishonest. The second questioner said, Joe Biden says you're late to the battle against income inequality. But she did handle herself well. She tends to do better in these formats than in anchor interviews, where she kind of sticks to the safe talking points.
All right, now the question of enthusiasm was raised with her. We have that. Watch.
It feels like there's a lot of young people like myself who are very passionate supporters of Bernie Sanders, and I just don't see the same enthusiasm from younger people for you. In fact, I've heard from quite a few people my age that they think you're dishonest, but I'd like to hear from you on why you feel the enthusiasm isn't there.
Look, I've been around a long time. People have thrown all kinds of things at me. I just keep going forward because there's nothing to it. They throw all this stuff at me, and I'm still standing.
That's a tough question, Chris. That is a toughie.
That wasn't really a question. That was just a big stink ball. That was just saying, you're terrible,
like, you're so
and my
mean.
friends and I were tough. Right, exactly. We were in the dorm and we were like, I hate her. And I think she reciprocates. I think the feeling that you could feel there was clear. But that is her best message. Hillary Clinton's best message for Democrats is she is durable.
Still standing.
She gets knocked around. She has bad times. She's still standing. She's there. That's really her best message, which is you don't like me, you don't love me, you might not even trust me, but I'm the one who will get through. And the Republicans, who knows what they're going to do. Now, they mentioned Donald Trump's name approximately 1 quadrillion times. But whatever the Republicans do, Hillary Clinton says, I'll be the one who can weather the storm Bernie Sanders won.
But that guy's question, so even though it was a little snarky, does speak to one of the things she's got to overcome, which is that Obama coalition that got President Obama elected twice is not necessarily the Democratic coalition. And if a GOPer wants to win the White House, he's going to have to peel off some of the young people, some of the Hispanics, some of the African Americans, and so on to win, some of the women. And so this voting group is important for her, Howie. And he raises a good point about how do you energize the young people? He's telling her honestly, I don't feel it.
Right, because look, Hillary Clinton's been around roughly forever, and clearly she's not connecting with many of the younger voters.
Not as long as Bernie.
Right, but I lost track of how many times Hillary Clinton brought up President Obama. She was hugging him. She was acting like they
She was mentioning his interview with Politico.
Yeah, he said nice things about her. And she was Ginger Rogers doing it backwards in high heels. So that was her strategy. Bernie kept bringing up my vote against Iraq, as he said. So they were each, playing to what they saw as their strengths. But it's a good format for Hillary. It does show you how she's so cautious that she stayed away from these things when actually she's pretty good at it. Instead, the DNC limited the number of debates and put them on when nobody was watching.
Mm-hmm. What do you think of it, Chris? Because that... was it that she knew the questioners were not going to be, that they were going to be Democrats, right? Because, like, the one guy stands up and he says, I have a question about Benghazi. And it was like, how are you so awesome at the Benghazi hearing? I know you were awesome, but just as awesome as I think you were, could you explain why you were even more awesome than that? It was something along those lines. And so that does allow, we have it. Oh, stand by. Stand by.
Good.
Stand by.
I was a lukewarm person for you before the Benghazi hearings. I watched all 11 hours, every second of it, and came away from that a gung-ho supporter of yours.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I woke up one night thinking that maybe I could see if Donald Trump was sitting here, maybe he'd punch Gowdy out. That was my point.
So... I don't know. Too soon, I think. You tell me. I don't know.
Too soon. Look, for Democrats, Hillary Clinton, and by the way, President Obama did a very good job marginalizing the issue of Benghazi among Democratic voters, among core voters. That word means fake story, pay no attention, Republican this, Republican that. Same with their emails. But you notice there's a thread there, which is, at some point, if this gets to be a real problem, the elephant in the room for Hillary Clinton tonight, every night, everywhere she goes, it remains possible that she could be indicted for a crime of a very serious nature.
We're going to get to
and
that.
No matter what she does, that puts a real stink on it.
It's the little, pig pen and the peanuts, still there. Okay, thank you both so much.